Chaim. Rav Pinchas raises wealthy chassid, the city of Shklov, lived in a big, beautiful mansion in the city of Shklov, the most beautiful house in the city. Belonged to the chassid Rav Pinchas raises, right? A big chassid of the Alter Rebbe. And amongst Hasidim, it was not very popular to have mansions. It wasn't a very normal thing. And Pinchas was once sitting at a Farbrengen with his fellow Hasidim, and they started steching him a little bit. They started teasing him about his mansion, right? They said, you can't live in a normal house. You have to have this big mansion. Now, Pinchas didn't have children. Unfortunately, he never had any children. It's not like he had a big family or anything. But he had a big, beautiful house. So some of his fellow Chassidim weren't very happy about it, and they said, "No, Pinchas, what's up with the big mansion you have?" And Pinchas said, "But you count the bricks in the mansion in my big house. That's how many times I cried over the fact that I have the mansion. But why do I have it? Why do I have the mansion?" He says, because when the leaders of the Jewish community in Shklov want to have a meeting, right? They want to have a board meeting, so they choose my house, right? Because it's the nicest house in town, right? That's the best place for the board of directors to meet. And since they're coming to my house, so that means I have a little bit of a say. And I could use my say to help out the poor Jews of Shklov, right? Moshe the Malamed, Moshe the school teacher. I could introduce policies that'll help Moshe the Malamed, right? And the other poor people of Shklov. So even though I can't, every time I look at my mansion, I want to cry, but it serves a purpose. So in this week's parsha, we have the mitzvah, Perek Chav Beis, Pasuk Chav Dalet. The Torah tells us about a Jew who loans money to his friends, and the different laws that are involved in lending out money. And the Torah starts off, Im kesef halves ami, es ha'ani imach. Right? If money you will lend out to my nation, to my people, the poor man amongst you. Now, this is a very strange pasuk for two obvious reasons, right? The first question that Rashi right away brings down from the Medrash, Rabbi Yishmael says that whenever we use the word im in the Torah, the word im usually means if. So whenever we have a mitzvah that says if you do this, it means that it's something that you can choose whether you want to do or whether you don't want to do it. However, there are 3 times throughout the Torah when the Torah uses the word im, if you do this, but it's really an obligation. And this is one of the cases. When it says if money you will lend out, it really means you have an obligation to lend out money to your fellow Jew. So the Or Chaim asks, if that's the case, why does the Torah use the word im? Why does it say if? Furthermore, if you continue looking at the pasuk, it says, if money you will lend out to my people, the poor man amongst you. What does it mean, the poor man amongst you? So Rashi says we learn out an interesting halacha that when you're looking for someone to help out, if there are a few people that need your help, you should choose the person who lives amongst you. You should help out the poor people in your own city before you start giving to poor people in other cities, people that are further away. But it's a bit of a strange expression, and our Chaim asked there must be a reason why the Torah uses this expression. The poor man who is with you, who is amongst you. So the founder of the Rothschild Bank, Mayor Anshel Rothschild, had 5 sons. One of them was Moshe, who actually took over the bank after he passed away. And when Moshe passed away, so Moshe's nephew, Mayor Rothschild, took over the Rothschild Bank. Right? He was a very successful businessman and a very successful banker, and he was also an art collector. He would collect beautiful works of art. and he had in his basement a giant vault where he used to keep all of his artworks and all of his valuables. And whenever he used to close a big business deal, they say that he used to joke. He used to say, "Oh no, I'm not going to die of hunger." He would say that was his expression. Whenever he would make a big deal would come his way, he would say, "Oh, I have a little money. I'm not going to die of hunger." However, as he was preparing to go on one of his business trips, he was actually about to set out on a business trip. He had already said goodbye to his family and was about to go on a trip. As he was actually leaving his house, he decided to go down to the safe to check out to make sure his safe was locked and everything was okay. So he went down to the big vault, and when he opened up the vault, he saw the beautiful works of art. So he starts looking around at all of the priceless treasures that he has. And as he's looking around, he hears the vault door click shut behind him, right? And he starts banging on the inside of the safe, but it's 2 feet of concrete. I don't know what it was made of and what the vault was made out of, but no one's going to hear him. And he was supposed to be traveling now. He was supposed to be going on a business trip. He had no phones. Nobody would even notice. What?
And no food.
And no food. Yeah, and no food.
All the money in the world.
He had all the money in the world sitting there, right? Gold coins, priceless works of art, right? And he's banging on the wall for a few days, and eventually his hands started to bleed from banging on the walls. And he wrote, he wrote on there's a table apparently in this big vault, and he wrote down on the table in his blood. He wrote, I would often say that I won't die of hunger, but I see that no matter how much money you have, if Hashem wants you to die of hunger, that's what's going to happen. All the money in the world won't help you. And they found his body there, a few days later. So money, gold, silver is very nice, but it's not actually useful on its own. The use of money is what you can do with the money, right? What you can do with the money. You can buy food, you can buy whatever you need, you can buy shelter.
You can do sprout, cancel sprout.
The what?
Sprout. Sardines, cancel sardines.
Oh, that's enough.
Gold.
That's enough. You can have some old hard bread, whatever. It's The money has no purpose on its own. The purpose of money is what you can do with it.
It's not a real.
So the obvious question arises. This is a question that was discussed in many places. Why is it that Hashem gives some people so much money that they don't know what to do with it? Right? Some people have so much money that they don't know what to do with their money. Right? There are people who have over $1 billion. Right? If you have $1 billion and you spent $30,000 a day, right? Then you were just born, you wouldn't finish the money in your life, right? And that's $1 billion. And there are people who have a lot more than that, right? So the obvious question becomes, what's the point? Right? Why does Hashem create the world in a way that there are people who have so much money? And on the other hand, you have people who don't have enough money to live. So the Gemara tells us that Turnus Rufus, the Roman governor of Judea, asked Rabbi Akiva this question. Right? He said to Rabbi Akiva, there must be a reason why God created poor people. It must be because he can't stand them and he wants them to die of hunger. Right? And you come along and you think you're doing a big mitzvah, you're going around giving tzedakah, but you're going against the will of Hashem. Because why did Hashem create poor people in the first place? So Rabbi Akiva told him the reason why Hashem created poor people, and he created people who have more money than they know what to do with, is because Hashem wanted to give the people the opportunity to show kindness towards each other. Right? He wanted to save us from Dina Shel Gehinna. Right? He wanted to give us an opportunity to purify our souls and cleanse our souls through helping other people. And that's why Hashem gave some people more in everything, whether it's money, whether it's knowledge, whatever it is. Hashem gave some people more and some people less. He wants the people who have more to use what they have, their excess that they have, to help those who don't have enough of it. And this is something that we have to realize when we have more than I need of whatever it is. The reason why I have more than I need is not so I can hoard it in some vault, right? In some safe in my basement or in some bank. The reason is because I'm supposed to use it to help others. My great-grandfather, great tzaddik, Reli Melech of Lezhensk, every night before he went to sleep, before Pesach, people do a b'dikas chametz. They check their house to make sure there's no chametz. He would do a b'dikas mamay. Every night, he would go around the house looking for any money that was left over in the house. Right? If there was any money, we bought whatever food we needed for the day. We had dinner already. There's money left over. Can't be any money left over in the house that we don't need. So he used to send somebody to give it out to poor people, to give tzedakah. There were times that he would miss a coin or two. Sometimes you're just looking for the chametz and you miss a couple of crumbs somewhere, right? And he would go to bed and he wouldn't be able to fall asleep. He would roll over from one side to the other, and after a while he would get up and he would say, there's money in the house. Right? There's money in the house. And they would start a whole search. He'd wake up his whole family and they would start searching throughout the whole house to try to track down the money that's there. There were even a few times that he got up in the middle of the night and this whole family started looking around for money. They searched the whole house. They couldn't find money. And he said, maybe there's somebody nearby who has money for me. And they went to the town inn, and it turned out that there was a guest who had just arrived late at night in Lezhensk, and he brought money to give to the Rebbe. And he figured it was late at night. He would give him the next day. But the Rebbe was bothered by the fact that there was money there, and he couldn't fall asleep. Because he recognized, right, that every penny that Hashem gives me is either that I could buy food for myself or my family, but if there's leftover money, there's a reason for it, right? And I have to use it out. I have to use it out for its intended purpose. The Medrash in Esther Rabbah tells us about a time that Rabbi Akiva and some other Chachamim were traveling around to collect money for the yeshiva, for poor Talmidei Chachamim. And they arrived in a city, and they heard that in this city there was a person named Bar Bohin, who was always known as a big Baal Chesed, and the rabbis would always go to him to get money. So whose name was like on top of the list of names Rabbi Akiva had. So Rabbi Akiva and the other rabbis go to his house, and as they're about to knock on the door, they hear a conversation inside the house at the front door.
Should Rabbi Akiva go to his father-in-law?
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he got money, and there was more. There were some very rich people, but there was a lot more. The amount of poor people was a lot more than the number of rich people. And I'm sure with his father-in-law, with the owner, he himself was very wealthy, right? And there was still always a need for more. So Rabbi Akiva comes to the door of this Bar Bohin, and he hears a conversation going on inside the house. Bar Bohin is talking to his, different versions of the story, it was either his son or his servant, and he was telling the servant, it was an Esther Rabbi says the servant, I think. He was saying to his servant, go to the market and buy some food. So the servant says, what should I buy? And he says, buy endives. Right? Endive is like a leaf. It's similar to lettuce. It's like a bitter leafy vegetable, right? And he says, okay. And he's about to leave, and Barbin calls after him and he says, make sure you get the endives from yesterday that are a little wilted. It's going to be cheaper, right? You're going to get a good deal, right? You go to the bakery and you get like the day-old bread is half the price, right? So Rabbi Akiva turns to the other rabbis who are with him, and he's like, probably shouldn't start here. We'll go somewhere else first. Something must have happened. He must have lost all his money, or he became stingy. I don't know. Why would that happen suddenly? So they what? So he didn't know they were coming. So they went around. They started going around the other houses, and eventually, as they're about to leave the town, they passed by his house again, and they see him, and he sees the rabbis, and he rushes out, and he says, "Oh, what are you here for? You're here to, they tell him that they're collecting money for poor Talmidei Chachamim. He says, go into my house and tell my wife that she should give you a jug of gold of dinarim, a jug of coins, of silver or gold coins. I don't know what it was." So they go into the house and they tell Barba, his wife, that your husband said you should give us a jug full of dinarim. And she says, did he say that so she starts filling up the jug of dinarim, and she gets to the top, and she says that my husband said it should be a flat measure on the top, or it should be a heaping jug. Right? When you fill up, you can fill up a plate. So you could fill up a plate like this, or you could do, Mendy, pick up your plate over there. Right? You could have a heaping plate over there. Right? So Rabbi Akiva says he didn't tell us. He just said a jug. He didn't say if it should be a regular jug or a heaping jug. He says, listen, I'll give you a heaping jug. If that's what my husband wanted, then great. If not, it'll be on my account. It'll be from my ksuba, from the money that my husband promised me when we got married. So they take out the heaping jug of gold coins, and they come out, and Barbahin looks at him, he's like, oh, I'm very happy she gave you a heaping jug. And he said, yeah, she wasn't sure what you meant, and she said if you didn't want to, she'll do it from her own ksuba. And Barbahin was very happy, so I'm very happy that she gave you a heaping jug. I'm going to double her ksuba, he says. So, and then as they're about to leave, he says, I don't understand, you're leaving town already? And they say, yeah, we finished collecting here. Why didn't you come to my house first? So they say, we did go to your house first, and we heard the conversation that you were having about the day-old endives that you're trying to get. Endives, in general, endives isn't the most expensive food, and you're looking for the day-old endives. We didn't think you, we thought something was wrong. So he says, no, listen, he says, Baruch Hashem, Hashem gave me a lot of money, he says. Now, obviously, I don't need all that money. So some of the money is for myself, and the rest is obviously for me to use to serve Hashem and to help other people. So when it comes to my own money, I'm a very stingy person, he says. When it comes to my own expenses, I'm very stingy. I save every penny. But when it comes to Hashem's money, I have no right to be stingy with Hashem's money. Right? I have no right to be stingy with the money that Hashem gave me to watch for Him. So he recognized that the reason why he had so much, why Hashem gave him more than he needed, is in order to be able to use to help others, in order to be able to use to serve Hashem. And this explains the Orach Chaim, is what's going on in this pasuk. Right? The Torah starts off, if money you will loan to my people. So the Orach Chaim says this is how you're supposed to read the verse. Right? If money you will loan to my people, the poor man who is with you. The Torah says, im kesef, if there is money. What does that mean? The Torah is talking to a person who has a big question. A person who's blessed by Hashem with a tremendous amount of money. He has a few $1 billion. And he's looking and he's saying, why did Hashem give me so much money? Right? I could buy a yacht, but it's still, I could buy a big mansion, a big yacht, but first of all, I don't need it. And I'm still going to have money left over. Right? And in 10 lifetimes, I couldn't use up all this money. So he has a question. Why did Hashem give me so much money? So the Torah answers, Im kesef, if you have a lot of money, talves ami, it's a sign that you should lend it out to help others. And why do you need to lend out money to others? Esa ani imach, the poor man who is with you. The Torah is telling you that the poor man's money, instead of giving it to him, Hashem decided to give it to you. To hold on to watch for him. Right? Hashem chose, instead of distributing the money equally amongst everybody, Hashem gave you money to hold on to for your friend. Right? And your friend has something for you also. I'm sure Hashem gave your friend maybe some more Torah knowledge that he can teach you. Right? Maybe some time he could spend with you to help you out in some other way. Right? And this is what the Torah is telling you. Im kesef, if you have too much money, talves ami, you should know that it's meant to lend out because that's ani imach, because the money of the poor person Hashem gave to you. And that's why you have so much. In the city of Damascus, a few hundred years ago, there lived a Arab sheikh, in English they say, right? An Arab elder, a spiritual leader for the Arabs over there, Sheikh Ahmed, right? And Sheikh Ahmed had one obsession in life. It wasn't money, it was honor, right? Honor. Everybody in Damascus honored Sheikh Ahmed, right? He was a very holy man. All the Muslims in the city knew he was a very holy person, right? And he liked talking about how holy he was, about how special he was. He would let everybody know how holy he was, how special he was. As a matter of fact, he told everybody that he merited divine revelations. God would appear to him and speak to him, right? Wow, such a holy sheikh, right? All the Muslims in the city would speak about the greatness of Sheikh Ahmed. Whenever he would walk in the street, people would almost bow down to him, run out to greet him. But he wasn't happy. He felt people had to give him more honor and more respect. So he started telling people about what a holy person he is and what a great miracle worker he is. And he spread a rumor. He started the following rumor, right? Every Friday, which is the Muslims' day of prayer, Sheikh Ahmed would travel all the way from Damascus to Mecca, which is right, the holiest place for Muslims, and he would go there to pray the holy, I don't know what their holy site is called, right? Now, of course, from Damascus to Mecca is, I don't know how many weeks of travel, but he would have some sort of kvitzas haderech, some miraculous journey, and every Friday morning he would be miraculously transported to Mecca, right? And in order to make sure everybody believed his new rumor, so he had a secret room built in somewhere in his house, and every Friday morning he would disappear there for a few hours. Nobody knew where he went, and then he would reappear a few hours later, telling everybody about his journey, about his trip to Mecca. Right, the people in Damascus heard what a holy person every week. Right, you know, Muslims try at least once in their life to travel to the holy site in Mecca, right? But Sheikh Ahmed has the merit every week to travel there miraculously, amazing. They all would talk about it. Whenever you'd walk in the street, people would I don't know, they would bend down, bow down before him, kiss the ground that he walked on, and he loved this, right? The honor that he received. But there was one thing that really annoyed him and really bothered him. The Jews of Damascus, they didn't believe any of this, right? And, they were obviously nice to him. They would greet him in the street. Hello, Sheikh Ahmed. But they didn't show him any special respect. This bothered him. This really annoyed him, right? All the Muslims, whenever he would walk, they would show him such honor and respect. And the Jews didn't really pay him much attention. Couldn't stand those Jews. Right, and one day he's walking through the Jewish quarter, and all the Jews are busy doing their thing. No one even looks at him, and he's getting more and more annoyed. Every Jew he passes who doesn't bow down to him, he's getting more and more upset. And finally, he reaches like the edge of the street, and there's a bunch of Jewish children playing. And apparently one of the kids made a good joke or something, and they all started laughing as he walks by. And he's furious. They're laughing. They're paying me no attention. Are they laughing at me? How dare they? Not only don't they bow down to me and show me respect, they're laughing at me. That's it. I have to do something about this. So he switches direction and he goes straight to the house of the Pasha, of the governor of Damascus. And he comes in to the governor. He says, the governor, there's been a terrible sin, a terrible crime against our religion. I was just walking through the Jewish quarter, and I passed by this group of Jewish children. And as I walked by, they started making jokes about me. They started laughing at me. They started laughing at Islam, at our religion, at all of us. We have to do something. We can't allow this. This is, they made fun of our religion. They made fun of our prophet. Right? The heresy, we can't allow such a thing. You have to send your soldiers right away to arrest those children. Okay, the Pasha sends his soldiers out. They find the children who are still playing there. They arrest them, and they throw them into a pit. And the children's parents come running, what's going on? And they tell them, your children were laughing at the Sheikh Ahmed. Terrible crime they committed. And they have to be punished for their terrible heresy. The parents start begging and pleading. Our children didn't realize, didn't know what they're doing. They're children, right? It's not enough, right? The Pasha says this is a terrible sin they committed. I can't do anything about it. You have to go speak to Sheikh Ahmed. Right? They go to Sheikh Ahmed, and Sheikh Ahmed says, no, absolutely not. They did it. They were laughing at me, making fun of me. They're going to take them to court. We're going to prosecute them for heresy. What do they do? So the Jewish community, the leaders of the Jewish community in Damascus gather together. What could they do? And the president of the Jewish community in Damascus, his name was Reb Chaim Parchi. He was a very wealthy diamond merchant. And he hears the whole story. He hears what happened, and he realizes he has to do something about this. Right? What is he going to do? Maybe he could bribe somebody. Right? He's very rich. He has a lot of money. Maybe he could figure out some way to bribe the pasha, bribe the sheikh. He doesn't know if it's going to work because the sheikh, as much as the sheikh likes money, he's more concerned about his own honor than he is for money. But he has to do something. So he goes home, and he goes into his big vault where he keeps all of his diamonds, all of his money. Right? And this time the door doesn't close behind him. Right? And he walks in and he starts looking around at the money that he has. And then he sees it all the way in the corner. In the back of the safe, there's a little box. A little chest. And he takes it out. And he opens it up. And in this chest is a diamond necklace. A beautiful diamond necklace. And this necklace has on it 99 beautifully carved, beautifully formed diamonds. And this was a very special necklace. This was a necklace that the Muslims would use in their prayer services. I think until today there are many sects of Islam that use it. They count. They actually have 99 different verses in their prayers, and they wear some sort of necklace with beads. They actually count the blessings or the prayers as they're saying it. Now, most of them use, little stones or wooden beads. Some of them would use, metal, maybe silver, maybe gold, pearls, right? But this was a priceless treasure. This was the highest quality, the best gems, the best diamonds were in this necklace. And such a necklace was almost priceless. And he takes the little box and he says, this is what I'm going to use to save the children. And he comes out with his box of diamonds, and his wife sees him, and his wife says, what are you doing? He says, I'm going to use this to save the children. And his wife says, you realize that's pretty much, most of our net worth, right? It's a big percentage of everything you own. And he says to her, listen, this necklace, a while ago, a couple of years ago, I came across this necklace, and someone was offering this necklace at an amazing bargain price. And I thought, what a tremendous opportunity. I could earn a tremendous amount of money from this necklace. And I went ahead and I bought it. And then I started thinking to myself, should I really be doing business with such a necklace? Right? It's not idolatry. It's not forbidden. But is this the way that a Jew is supposed to earn money? By selling necklaces that Muslims use during their prayer services? Well, what should I do with it? I already paid for it. And I didn't know what to do. And I just left it there. And I've been thinking, why did Hashem arrange that I should get this beautiful diamond necklace at a very low price? Of course, I can make a fortune from this. But I don't think that's why I'm supposed to have it. First of all, I don't need the money, right? I have enough money, and I don't think Hashem wants me to earn money in this way. So there has to be a reason why I have this. And now it finally became clear to me when these children were imprisoned. I realized that this must be the reason why Hashem arranged that I should have this priceless necklace. So he took the necklace and he traveled to the home of the Pasha, of the governor of Damascus, And he said, Your Honor, dear Pasha, Pasha says, don't even think of coming to talk to me about the Jewish children. That's out of my hands. I can't help you with that. Chaim Parchi said, absolutely not. I have nothing to do with the Jewish children. I'm here to get, because of, I love you so much. You're such a great governor. I came here to bring you a gift. I came here to bring you a gift. A gift? Wonderful. I love gifts, right? Pasha's eyes opened wide with greed. And Chaim takes out the little box. This was after he had already opened up the box earlier in his house, and he had before he had gone to the Pasha, he had opened up, untied the necklace, and now he brings the necklace to the Pasha, and the Pasha picks up the beautiful necklace. His eyes open wide. He had never seen such a beautiful, of course, he himself probably had a pearl necklace or maybe some sort of gold and silver necklace, but he had never seen such a beautiful prayer necklace with diamonds, such beautiful gems. And immediately he picks it up and he starts counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? He's going 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98. Wrong over here. I must have miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Starts from the beginning again. 96, 97, 98. He turns to Chaim and he says, "There's a mistake. It's only 98 stones." And Chaim says, "Yes, so we only have 98 stones. Not a big deal, 98's almost 99, right? Pretty close." Obviously, Chaim had removed one of the stones before he brought it to the Pasha. And the Pasha says, no, you don't understand. This is useless. I can't use a necklace with only 98 stones. I need 99 stones. Otherwise, I can't bring it, I can't bring it to the mosque tomorrow to show off to everybody what a beautiful necklace I have. Right? So Chaim says, it's not a big deal. I know exactly where you can get another stone for this. I have a friend, a diamond dealer, who can, it shouldn't be a big deal. Should be able to get you another stone for the necklace. Wonderful, excellent. Who's this friend? Well, he lives in Mecca. He lives all the way in Mecca. He has a shop in Mecca on the main street of Mecca. And the Pasha's like, that's not very helpful. Mecca is weeks of traveling, and it's a very dangerous journey. I don't know when the next time I'm going to be going there is. And Chaim's like, it's not a big deal. Sheikh Ahmed is going there tomorrow, right? So every Friday, we know he travels to Mecca. Shouldn't be a big deal. Here's some money. I even have the money for it. You can give this money to Sheikh Ahmed. Ask him to buy you the missing diamond. Wonderful. That's a brilliant idea, says the Pasha. Okay, Chaim leaves. He calls Sheikh Ahmed and he says, Sheikh Ahmed, we have a little problem over here. Chaim just brought me this beautiful necklace, but it's missing one stone. But you could only get just a stone you could only get at the diamond dealer in Mecca. So here I have some money for you. Tomorrow when you make your weekly trip, your weekly pilgrimage, I want you to buy me a stone. And Sheikh Ahmed's big frown appears on his face, but he realizes he can't say anything. And he says, okay, I'll try, I'll see what I can do. He takes the money from the Pasha and he runs out, and immediately he runs to Chaim Parchi's house and he says, I know what you did, right? Where can I get the stone? And Chaim's like, I have the stone, but there's a price. The price is the freedom of the Jewish children, right? And your promise that you will not try to harm the Jews of Damascus again. And of course, Sheikh Ahmed knows that his reputation is at stake. He doesn't have much of a choice. So he agrees. He immediately tells the Pasha to free the children. And Chaim gave him the missing diamond. And he was able to keep up his reputation. But from then on, he knew not to start up with the Jews of Damascus. Right?
Yeah. Why didn't he just say...
So Chaim realized...
I didn't find it.
Well, apparently it was a type of stone that you could find in Mecca. I don't think it was just one store. I assume Chaim knew what he was doing. He used a type of diamond that you should be able to find in Mecca. So Chaim recognized that if Hashem, gave him this priceless treasure, it was not that he could become even more wealthy than he already was, especially if it's not the best source of wealth. He recognized that Hashem gave this to him, gave this treasure to him so that he can use it to help somebody else. And this is what the Or HaChaim is telling us, right? If we have more than we need of something, it might be money, or it might be something else, right? You might have a big plate full of chips and takis, and maybe your friend doesn't have so much, right? Or maybe you know a lot of Torah, and somebody else who doesn't know as much, right? You have some sort of gift, some sort of talent that Hashem blessed you with, and it might be an unusual gift, something which is beyond what you need. And you have a question. In Kesef, why do I have so much money? Why did Hashem bless me so much? Why did Hashem give me so many blessings? So the pasuk tells you, Esa ani imach, right? The poor person's portion is with you. If you're wondering, why do I have such a beautiful mansion? Right? Why does Rav Pinchas have such a beautiful mansion? The Torah is telling us so that you can help Moshe the Melamed, that you can help somebody next to you, somebody around you. And we should use all the gifts that Hashem gave us to serve Hashem and to help all those around us. L'chaim, l'chaim.
That's it, final.